Hey guys, today we're working on this 2-gallon, 1.5 horsepower Craftsman air compressor. Having an issue with it not turning over. I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot and fix the problem. First things first, let's hear what it sounds like. All right, let's get to fixing. So taking a look at it with the cover on, you got to remove these 8mm bolts on both sides, unscrew this attachment here, and then you're going to have to move this part back because there is a lip underneath here, the plastic covering. This is where the fan is, and this will not be able to come up until this is moved backwards. All right, so push back. Pull the motor out, slide this off. All right, so my assumption is this is the problem here. It's held on by a 14mm bolt. This capacitor is CBB60. I found one online at a higher voltage. 450 versus 250. Now you can go higher in the voltage of the capacitor, but you can't go lower. So we're going to see if this works. The new capacitor is in place with the 14mm, and I have very shoddily put the connections together. So feel free to tear me apart in the comments about that. And then I threw one bolt in because if this thing turns on, I don't want it to fly away. I'm also going to leave this off because if this in fact was the issue and it starts working, I want to get the oil going because that hasn't been changed in a while, and I'm going to change that as well. So hold on to your butts. All right, that appeared to be the problem. The capacitor was toast, my ghost. Let's get the cover back on, show you how to change the oil. One mishap, if you will, something that probably should have been glaringly obvious, is that because the capacitor that I ordered is bigger physically, it's not going to fit in the housing itself. So the screws to hold this on, not necessarily going to line up with this big boy in there, but we got enough on to where it is holding it steady. I might consider, going back, returning this one and getting the correct part, but I probably won't. Okay, this thing ran for about a minute or so. I haven't changed the oil in a while, so we're going to get into that. Take this little valve off here. Set that aside. This is about an inch, or I've got a 15/16 here, but you can just get away with using any old wrench. We're going to turn that. Very good. And make a little bit of a mess there, but that's all right. Set this aside. We're just going to let that drain. We have now reached a point of diminishing returns on the oil draining, so we're going to add the cap back on. We will tighten it down, and then we're going to be adding in today this air compressor oil, non-detergent air compressor oil. This is, based on the size of this engine motor, this is probably a lifetime's worth. So keep that in mind when you're buying. Let me lower this thing down for a second. When you fill this thing up, you're gonna be looking here, and you want that oil to just be kind of splitting this red dot. And so in order to fill this thing up to appropriate levels, we're talking maybe a half a cup. That's all it takes. Put this back on. Make sure everything's tightened down. Put the hose back on, and you're good to go. Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day.